anytime now. He's not there yet. He's letting me know. And then I can put the YouTube link in the main room. You guys can head over there if you want. Time now. He's not there yet. Oh, you're there. Thank you, Chris. Okay. Link in the main room. You guys can head over check the Slack. Okay. Oh, you're there. Thank you, Chris.
Alrighty, sorry, little feedback as I'm getting getting all set here, and I wanted to let Barry know I went in the room to let him know I'm there. Give everybody a moment. Ben, we are going to start one up right now. If you have any questions, Ben, you start firing those away for me, and we're going to get right to them. So, all right, folks, I'm just going to give it another second, let people continue to pile in and refresh everyone on that. We are here doing this live Q&A as an open forum. I do not have pre-done content. I did this yesterday as well, so I'd really like to see us asking lots of questions here based on trade ideas and the stuff you all want to see. You know, I don't think it's necessary for me to do another round the market today. I know that some people probably do like that, but I don't think it's necessary to do every day, especially when it's pertaining to things like swing trading. We don't need to look at every tick of every single thing all day long. That doesn't really benefit anybody. And, you know, anybody that's, I think everybody here is paying some attention, has some inkling into the overall market. And we can see there's not a whole lot going on today. Really isn't a whole lot going on the last couple of days at this point, once we got past last week's major event. So I'd much preferred if you folks were asking questions about the software versus me just going around. Especially also, I lost my top 10 earlier today. I had to load another layout for something, so the top 10 that's here isn't probably a great one. It wasn't great anyways, to be honest. It's a very lackluster day in the market. I think a lot of sitting and digesting and waiting around at this point. So, all right, with that said, I will continue to call for you folks to get some questions in here for me. Any questions at all related to Trade Ideas software? And again, no pre-done content from me here. I'm looking for your questions, answer your questions, help you get the most out of this platform. Can we get notifications for trade waves? No, there's no notifications for that. Sorry, my friend. It's really just on the charts at this point. All right. Back to this again. That's annoying. Bear with me here. Any plans to add it? No, there's no there's a lot of talk about bringing in more mobile stuff, but as far as notifications like that go, I wouldn't hold my breath on TradeWave stuff, to be honest. Sorry. Best option for you would be if you're on the go and you're really trying to trade on the go from your phone, something I highly recommend against. That's always up to each individual trader. You know, there is the market dashboard. There's always the market dashboard. So you could do that instead. Bear with me. My layout is fighting with me here. And anybody with other questions, fire those in, and I'm going to bring over the market dashboard in a moment. It's more mobile friendly, and you can put the TradeWave on there, and you can check out individual stocks on it that way. All right, I guess that will work now. So the mobile dashboard, let's bring that over. If you're on our home page here under My Trade Ideas, this will give you the mobile dashboard. Now, one thing I want to note with this is if you're using the software and trying to use this at the same time, every time you swap to this, if you have live data, so you can click here and you can switch it from delayed to live, it'll kick you out of the software, right? So I always leave mine set on delayed. I don't use the mobile dashboard personally. I have no need for it, but obviously I need to understand it to be able to, assist with it and troubleshoot. So I just leave it on delayed. And it's also good to leave it on delayed because if you go to any of our other resources like the filter index or, the alert index, education guide, this stuff like that, if you have this on live, that'll also kick you out of the software. So I just leave this on delayed by default. But if you're using this, clearly you want it on live, right? And you can find here in the charts, the TradeWave right here. So, yeah, I'd be looking at that. That would be your best solution as far as that goes. And the mobile dashboard here, or the web dashboard, because I don't want to confuse this with, we have a web version, which is not this. So I don't want to confuse the web version, which is a desktop web application, with this. There's our Windows desktop application. We have a web application, which is for desktop. And then we have the market dashboard, which can be obviously used on a desktop, but this is more mobile friendly and was meant to be mobile friendly. This is our path forward over the next however long. I know the end goal is everything you see inside the full download Windows software is to end up in this eventually. I don't have a time frame for it. Obviously, I'm not a developer, but that is the focus and the direction that the company is going, to webify all of this eventually. Just this link that's here. So I'll put this in the chat for you. We show Google Lens shortcut. No idea what that is. All right. There you go. So this is the closest to mobile friendly you're going to get with us for now. Like I said, the idea is to build this out to replace the full software at some point. And what you can do with this, if you're using it on a Mac or something like that, and you want to use this, you can have multiple tabs of this open, right? So we can duplicate, and we can duplicate. All right, so now you can see I've got 3 tabs here, and I could change some stuff around going on as this loads up. So let's just say I'll click on, this is on PTLE. So let's click on this RMTI. So we've got this still on PTLE, and this is on RMTI, and this is still loading for whatever reason. We'll click ADN here, and hopefully someday it decides to load instead of making me look like a fool live here on YouTube. Almost there. You can do it. I know you can. There you go. And so you can see how here, I can have it tabbed across differently, or, I can be in a different tab if I want to be in the deep dive over here. And I wanted to be on the sectors in play over here. And I just want to be in the scope 360 over here. So, those are all things that we can do here. You got it. You got it. So I do all my stuff. I'm a firm believer in being at the desktop for trading personally. I suppose swing traders that do a lot of early morning or later night homework like I do, they probably could do well or do all right, being mobile and waiting for their setups to, come together during the day. And if the setup, presents itself to enter that swing trade during the day, it's not the same as day trading, obviously. But for day trading purposes, maybe there's people out there that can do it well in a mobile device. I'm not one of them. I haven't met anybody that can to this point. Like any other profession, trading requires 100% attention, right? So this isn't something where you want to be, reading a book, you're on the subway and, let me just take a trade real quick. It's, I know that's the kind of what everybody wants or thinks or sees, but, long term, I don't know that that's very viable, but that's just me. So, all right, yeah, so that's the mobile dashboard there. If folks have more questions, please keep those coming regarding the software here. I guess some inside or during the day thoughts I was looking for to see if there was any opportunities during the day today. But I did that. I'm thinking that with the nice run up that we've had and a possible consolidation and or slight pullback as possible, I don't run into anything. And, patience, chance favors the patient. Discussed yesterday that, a lot of money is made in the waiting to enter the positions, the waiting while you're in the positions, letting those trading plans execute and pull themselves off. It's not just waiting. There's a plan behind the waiting. TOST, I'm looking at it up here for a couple of days. Obviously, a big positive reaction to earnings. I see data process and hosting. It's a sector. These kinds of stocks have been hot lately. And so I'm kind of waiting for TOST. And see if it can't break that 39 and hold it. It did a few times, but it never really gave me that reason to give it that extra look. Another stock that did that today I was watching was BTDR. I'm watching this one here. It's been a little volatile. Again, same kind of concept, data processing, hosting. It was coming through races earlier. Or no, it wasn't coming through race earlier. I did this. This was part of my evening scan homework. And so, watching this thing up and down and up, it's at kind of a major inflection point here and just watching it to see if it could get up and challenge highs of yesterday and just couldn't do it. And I was ready to pull the trigger a couple times through here. Glad I didn't, because I'd be sitting underwater on it right now. So that's why it's just so important to be patient and let it come to you in your trading plan. If you don't have a trading plan, obviously it can't come to you. And that's just, it's the nature of the biz. Just a couple of examples of things I was kind of looking at here today. And again, anybody with questions, please get those in for me, right? There really isn't much to highlight, if anything, from this race today. BTCT. And it's not going to chase something like this. Not my cup of tea. Things moving all over the place. Spreads have opened wide several times. It's just too much for me. Obviously there are people that are trading it. They're making money. Power to them. It's just when a stock can move that much that fast for me, I really got to be in step with it, and I wasn't. So good on anybody that was able to get that. MULN's been coming through these races a whole bunch all day, but it's just not It's not something that I'm comfortable with in dynamic. You get this move up and a pull back, and you get all these topping and bottoming shadows here. It's a really low price stock. Like you got to take how many shares you got to take to make it worth it. And if it falls on you, you got that many shares cutting back against you. So it just doesn't make sense to me. GNPX, something similar with these topping and bottoming shadows. It's just hard when something moves that much that quickly. It's not a great trading opportunity for me personally. And again, I'm sure there are people out there doing just fine on some of these stocks today. Good on them. FH, another one. The other thing is I don't like stocks under $4. I really don't like stocks under $8, to be honest. So, not a ton here. Also, some of these stocks, they weren't they didn't have a lot of shares traded earlier in the day. 900,000 shares traded now. This volume pop here really kind of moved that up a little bit here. Before that, you got something like this that's trading, 150, 200, 300,000 shares an hour plus into the day. Just not gonna cut the mustard for me. That's all. So TOST still trying to entice me today. But for now, no. So again, anybody with questions, please, get those questions in for me. Cannot answer the questions that are not asked. I think I spare us all. I did a bunch of sectors yesterday. I did the overall market yesterday. So I don't think there's a need to repeat all of that. I don't think that's a good use of anyone's time at this point. For maybe those that are curious, I guess, we look at the duplicate this race so it doesn't stop. Show what I'm doing with this race for those that are curious. So we open the top list, or where's configure? Go to the configure here, advanced configure. You can see pretty simple on the filters, looking at stocks between $2 and $30, have to trade at least 400,000 shares on the day. Got to be 85% above the lower Bollinger Band. You got a volume filter in here. Just make sure the stock is trading fairly consistently. I don't want to look at stocks that traded, 20,000 shares, doesn't trade for 20 minutes, trades another 10,000 shares, doesn't trade for 45 minutes, trades another 5,000 shares, doesn't trade for another 20 minutes, trades another 7,000 shares, doesn't trade for 12 minutes again. I want to make sure that there's some consistent volume that's going on there. And then once those stocks are able to get onto the list, they're sorted with the ones that are up the most from the open at the top. And then, of course, the old racing part of this here, we're based on change from open and sorting on change from open and descending order and the total accumulation of that change from open. So, stocks that are strongest from the open. The reason I put the Bollinger Band in there, even though I never use Bollinger Bands as an indicator, I always like the idea of John Bollinger's breaking the top band is momentum to the upside, breaking the lower band is momentum to the downside. That is the way he had built and intended and uses it. And that's kind of how that does. Isn't that interesting? I'm testing an auto strategy right now in the simulator. It looks like it just took a position of 100 shares here. Very interesting. Now it's oversimplifying it a bit, but that's the general idea of his Bollinger Bands and finding momentum in that regard. So that's what I did with that. I thought I'd use it to find some momentum. Generally speaking, the scan finds me some decent idea generation every month. Is it every day? No, there's days like today where I'm not crazy about what's coming through it. That's the way it goes. Money Machine Profit, is that the new system you are working on? Yeah. So the Money Machine is essentially, it's trying to keep you rotated into the top 3 stocks here on either a race or a top list or whatever. And when one drops out of the top 3, it gets replaced by the one that goes in. Some challenges are there. It's a very good proof, a very good concept. Getting the execution of that is a little tougher because trying to follow along with something like that on faster moving things manually is just not really possible at this point. But the idea is see if we can make it work in automation. The problem is Topless have a completely different function behind them than alert windows for automation. Alert windows are time-stamped alert, boom, stock did XYZ at this time. It can send the alert and send the order. This isn't a stock that did something specific at a specific time on this, so rotating them has proved to be more of a challenge on the API side of things. We got some smart people behind the scenes that are working on it, and as they kind of move forward on that, we'll get it into a simulator. If it proves as a well-to-do concept in the simulator, we'll start to move that towards live trading. But for right now, it's view demo mode. And as I tell anybody else, stay tuned. There's no real way to know if it would be up 5K. It's doing it based on last price and some things like that. So no real way to know. We got a long way up the mountain on that right now. It could be one of those ones where all of a sudden it feels like it's a long way and a couple of things click and we're much closer. So what I would tell everybody is be subscribed to our primary list, and our management team will send out updates as we move forward on that. And that's the short and skinny of Z Money Machine. So TOST, still watching it here. It's funny that it took... I have two different strategies that I'm trying to test for automation here, just playing around. It's funny that this is the stock that one of the stocks I'm more interested in taking a swing position in, and it just happens to in an automated strategy. Anywho, moving along in life.
Tossed.
Zoom in a little more on that chart. There we go. Reset a price alert and keep a watch. Of course, you got a dog. And of course, anybody else with questions, please get those in here for me, right? Get those questions in here for me. Cannot answer the questions that are not asked. Let's see, what else? Is there anything else really going on today from my end of things?
Tossed.
Well, it's getting more and more interesting. Even with the market, drifting slightly down today, and, take this all with a grain of salt here. Up and away, right? And you just got, fade and whatever you want to call it today. It's down, but it's not anything I'm concerned about. I do find it interesting that my evening scan list is still looking so strong with as many candidates in it at this point. We'll see how that pans out the rest of the day here. And again, don't be shy, folks. Don't be shy. Get those questions in, please. That is what I'm here for. Assist and aid in growth and use of Trade Ideas software. Lots of features, lots of functions out there. Surely someone has a question that they need answered here. So we got a little volume come back into this here. Rejected off the high of the day and 39 again.
Tossed.
We'll see what happens. We'll see. I've got my eye on it. If there's anything else that much interests me at this point, to be honest. Nothing else really coming through here that's of that much interest to me on the races. So just one of those days. I'm sure there's stuff out there. KURA. I saw this early, but I don't know what time it was. It had only a few 100,000 shares traded on it. By the time I saw it, it was up here already, and it's just tough for me to go after stock up at $1.50, give or take. It's been this downtrend and all those things like that. So still poking around. GENI, I think there's something similar. No, I guess this wasn't something similar. So I lost that original top 10, unfortunately, kind of messing me up a little bit. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, everyone. Get those questions in for me, please, right? Get those questions in for me, please. I guess, one thing I could put in here that we can look at, just show how tough all this stuff is when it comes to, the Holy Grail. I know everybody's Holy Grail is an alert window. They can just automate and count their money and play golf and run to the bank and pick the kids up from school and all that stuff like that. Of course, I'm no different. I put the work in. Over these years, I've been unable to accomplish this, but I never stop trying. After, I put some work in and it doesn't work, I take a break and come back to it. So here's a strategy I thought about for a swing trading strategy, given we're in a bull market. I did some optimizing and some back testing and optimizing on it. The original strategy was stacking above the different VWAPs and a little ADX involved in it. And I guess that was really it to start with. I think maybe I didn't think I threw a price range in there, to be honest. Kind of narrow. I think maybe I put a floor at $4 or something on the price range, maybe a top at $100. That might have been what I did. And some back testing and optimizing, and the thing looked real good for a minute. Real good. I couldn't even believe it was probably one of the best back tests I ever ran after a few optimizations. I didn't think I really curve fit it too much. Come back to that configure real quick here. I brought in an RSI from the optimizing. I brought in a change in the NASDAQ, change in S&P, brought in a daily average. I don't think I really did a whole lot more than that. I guess maybe a few position and ranges here. But I think I actually had those to start with, and I DI also. So a lot of this was done already, and just added a few, optimizations and poked around a little bit, time of day and stuff like that. And back test the strategy. We'll start it at 10 a.m. We're going to end it 10 minutes before the market closes. We're going to, day after tomorrow, we're going to sell it at the market close the day after tomorrow. There's no other risk management involved. And this thing was looking real good. It was like my winners were like $1.20. My losers were 50 cents. Better than a 2-to-1 ratio. And the thing was looking great, right? This was about a month plus ago. And then as I continue to back test it, this has gone on. Always discouraging, but it is what it is. You can see the tail end of where the back test looked good, and then where it just completely fell apart on me afterwards. It's got a couple of nice days now. I can see here, this daily here. So, we won't have today's data till tomorrow because all the data has to come in, process overnight, and then get put back through with our overnight process. But we can see here, looking real poor now is what it is. Lick my wounds of time put into it, and at some point I'll get back to it again and see how this all goes. We can still see the average winner pretty decent. but unfortunately the average loser caught way up, and just not really what I'm looking for here. So is what it is. The work we put in doesn't always equate to what we want. And we can mess around with it since we've got nothing else going on right here. Nobody's asking questions. What if we did it at, so we had it at the market open day after tomorrow. Sorry, I said close. It was market open. What if we shortened it a little bit? Let's shorten it the market open tomorrow. What happens? Just for fun. Well, it has improved the strategy, but it's no proof of concept on anything because we just had to change a whole bunch of the strategy in order to get anything positive at it, and that's not out of it, and that's not really how this all works. But you never know. Maybe changing it for in the long run will have made it better. I'm going to guess not, because that is not a good average winner to loser spread. That's not good at all. And you got to count slippage and things like that in here. So having just a 9-cent buffer between your winners and losers is just not going to cut the mustard. On the daily side of things, it does look a lot better here, but this either needs to come way up, or this needs to come way down, or this needs to come up a little bit, and this needs to come down a little bit. And I know probably someone's out there like, yeah, but you got 60% winners. Win percentage is not nearly as important as profit factor / winner losers. If you got a 50% winner, but you're making $1 to, let's say, every 40 cents you lose, that's going to be profitable. You got a 60-cent spread in there. There's no, you're not going to really be getting hurt on any of that stuff. Joe, I'm just showing off the back tester here. No questions were coming in about the software, and decided to, pull out the back tester. I like to do some back testing now and again. As I mentioned at the beginning here, when I took out the back tester, like everybody else, I'm looking for the holy grail where I can create a strategy that will make me a few dollars passively, throughout the year. In all my years, I've yet to create one that works long term, but never give up, right? Always learning and whatnot with this. So I had mentioned also that this was a strategy that at the beginning, when I had first created and did just a little optimization with it, was looking real good. It was looking real good. And then all of a sudden, as I started forward testing it, what I mean by forward testing, by the way, is back tests after what I would consider, all right, these back tests look good. We'll make no more adjustments on the scan now. And now we'll back test it, every day or every couple of days and see how it looks going forward. So that's what I would consider a forward testing. And the forward testing, this whole thing fell apart. So again, sad, but the way it is, that's the way it goes sometimes. If you have any specific questions on the back tester, by all means, don't be shy and get those in here. Or specific questions on any of the software whatsoever. That's what these Q&As are for. We're here to help you folks leverage the software in the way that you need. Best move forward in a positive direction for your goals here. Something I've always said in the past is benefits us 0. If I could give it a less than 0, I would, if you folks struggle with the software, right? We not only want, but we need you folks to succeed with your trading, right? And I am a big proponent of there is room at the top for everybody. Everybody that's willing to put in the work without a question. There is plenty of room for everybody to succeed here. No, Holly cannot be sent via text. The only way to see Holly is through the desktop application, whether it's the web desktop or the Windows desktop. I would lean everybody towards the Windows desktop at this point still, but that's your prerogative. But yeah, the only way to see Holly alerts is through the Windows desktop. There is no mobile version of Holly. Again, keep those questions coming. I like it when you folks ask questions. I always dislike when I can't give you the answer you want. I never like that very much, but got to give you the answers that are true. So please, please keep those questions coming. Don't be shy. And, we could always take a look real quick, some Holly alerts that are going on here today. Made a long call here in BTCS. Got that here. Quite a move. Wow. That's quite a move. RVPH. Haven't seen that at all today. It's at under $2, so I wouldn't see it. But grinding along here. Short call in ZETA. Oof. I'm guessing that is one big negative reaction to earnings from yesterday. Had quite the run up though, right? I mean, just grinding along all this time. Bit of a sell-off. Really kind of took off into earnings and, well, negative reaction to earnings. But this 29 level is a pretty big level. So, this would be one of those stocks. You can see I have it on my like list. I've traded in and out of it a few times. If it was able to hold this 29 level and maybe start to show some positive, it'd be something I'm interested in again. That's for sure. We offer this every day at noon Eastern is what we offer. We're a very, very, very small crew here. So we do this every day at noon Eastern, every market day for an hour. Plus there is the live traders room that's running from, Barry's there from about 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern till 2:30, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And while he's kind of more trader focused and things like that, he can certainly answer many software questions. If you start to get too down rabbit holes of back testing and things like that, that's where you're going to want to come back to when I'm doing these live streams here. We do have, for whatever reason, people avoid it all like it's the plague, but we have our very short, but very, what I consider extremely important getting started series. It's 30 minutes long. If you've already logged into the software, you probably skip like the first 2-3 videos, actually, to be honest. I cut down to 25 minutes, 24 minutes, something like that. I don't know what the reason is. People refuse to watch it and struggle, but that's their prerogative. There's a lot on our education page. Let me share the education page. We have a user's guide. The user's guide is searchable. And as you start to get a little more hang of the software, and I think that first 2 to 5 days, depending on your ability with software in general and trading knowledge in general, is that learning curve that you'll have. People that understand technical analysis to some degree already, obviously going to have a leg up on those that don't. People that can navigate software reasonably versus kind of just take the attitude of, I'm not good with technology. Those people that the quote, I'm not good with technology, they'll always struggle. It's just the way it is. The people that can kind of gut through it a little bit. Once you realize you don't need all the software either. We have lots of things for traders of all walks, right? No person uses all of the software, and so once you kind of know exactly what you want out of it, those that come into the software knowing what they already want out of it, they really take off on it fast. Those that don't, it's going to take them more time because they got to figure out who and what they are as a trader, and then how to leverage the software for that item. So any questions you have, Dan, please get those in here. I'm here personally for about another 20 minutes, give or take, and would be thrilled to assist you in any way whatsoever with any questions that you have software related. So yeah, Zeta getting beat up here. What else? Anything else interesting from Holly here? You always find stuff like this interesting. So you got SDGR here. And while it's down now, you had a few minutes you were up on it, right? So called it at 22. So right here on that pullback, as a matter of fact, on support, it even called it, right? On support. Calling for 22 to be support. And then you had, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. Even down here, because you didn't get back to 22, 30 minutes that you were up in the money on that here. So this is where being a trader comes in, right? Some risk management. And not a bad alert from Holly. So the reason I'm pointing this out is, I could see here in this max column, I have this set up to hypothetically risk $100 per trade. And that's the share sizing it would give. So it was up $100. Clearly it's down at this point now, but it was up there. We'd see the only alerts that really didn't get in the money, MULN, never got in the money. And I wouldn't consider LMFA at $6 ever really in the money. I don't know that I consider this really in the money either, but I think it's still it's still actively there. So always time, I suppose. BTCM was up in the money for a hot minute there. Of course, Dan. I mean, if you can think of anything, the money machine is just in a view demo mode right now. At this point, there really isn't anything for users to do with it. The idea behind it, our hope and goal is that it will be automated, where it's constantly keeping you in the top 3 stocks in the race/top list, and every time one drops out, it gets replaced into that top 3 as a position. It's a little complicated, the behind the scenes plumbing of how that'll all work and shake out, and ultimately what will happen with it. So right now it's just in a view demo mode. Clearly on these rapid moving stocks and trying to keep up and get in and out, because there are no stop losses, there are no targets, no anything like that. It's just a simple rotation. So following along with it manually isn't realistic at this point for what the end goal is here. And so what I tell everybody is stay tuned to more communications from our management team as we move forward on testing of this. The next phase will be getting it set up so that we can simulate it in trading. And, because view mode is not a simulated trading. It's like a real simulated trading. And then if that works well, we'd move on to some live testing. And if that works well, then it would be released. So that's where the money machine stands at the moment. So TOST pushed through high of the day. It's kind of grinding along here at this point. It's in that simulated portfolio I was talking about before. Let's see where it can go and what it can do from here. ALT, I was watching this earlier, but again, another one of those real tough ones. You get these, you look at that bottom and topping shadow there, and the topping shadow here, and it gets through and it just kind of chops around this whole time here before it makes that move. Just a lot of volatility for me personally. Account size. Well, this kind of plays into a market mechanics question more than anything else. If you were in the US and you're trying to rotate in and out of stocks day trading like that, realistically, you probably need a $30,000 margin account because of the pattern day trader rule. And then you'd have to probably start on the smaller share size of things to make sure you don't overextend in the margin and things like that and lose buying power. Because if you did, then it would cause you to miss rotations and, upsetting the balance of the system probably won't work well. This is all hypothetical because it's not been really tested in this regard. But if you don't have a fully marginable account, that won't be PDT restricted, it just wouldn't work. There'd be no way market mechanics wise it would work. That's, the brokers and SEC side of things, not our side of things. If you're outside of the US, then you'd have to check with your local regulators and brokers if there are any requirements and restrictions and things like that. I don't think there's any other country that has anything quite like the pattern day trader rule, but I'm not familiar with international rules and regulations in that regard. Yeah, so if you're in the US, I'll surmise you're familiar with the pattern day trader rule. If you're not familiar with it, I always point people to reach out to your broker for more information on it, because I don't want to mislead, misguide, or misinform about it. The short and skinny of it is, if you are under $25,000, you can't just day trade how you want to day trade. That's the short and skinny of it. You're allowed, with a margin account, you can only go round trip 3 times every 5 days the stock market is open. If you're in a cash account, you can obviously trade as much as you want on settled cash. You got to make sure it's settled properly, because then things like good faith violations, free ride violations come in. There's all kinds of hoops and hooks and things like that with these brokers and the SEC and regulations and things like that. So they don't, for whatever reason, they don't make it easy on us. Well, I think the reason is to keep the playground to a limited set of folks, but that's another story for another time. And then, some stuff that's covered through the Getting Started series, but maybe just a quick rundown for you here as far as the Windows download software goes. You've got different kinds of windows that you can open in here. There's many pre-made scans and layouts between the channel bar and dock channel bar. They all kind of theme themselves. You can click more here, pre-market, after hours, stuff like this here. Every one of these, if you click on them, you load a different set of scans and some charts and things like that. I think it's a mix at this point. That some people like the channels and they kind of stick to those, or they take the channels, they make some edits, and they save it to their own cloud, because you can't save on the channel itself, because this is pushed out to everybody. So you can't save it, because it would change everybody's save. But you could save it to your own cloud and load it that way with those edits you make. I still think the majority of users eventually kind of create their own layouts. Maybe they pull a scan from this channel, scan from that channel, create a scan of their own, set up charts how they see fit, and then kind of go at the software from there like that. I think that's kind of, for the most part, how that goes. And then again, we offer different kinds of scanning windows. We got alert windows. There are 2 fold window here. What's called an alert or an event. So it's something like a new high, a new low, new high ask, new low bid. Things like that are an alert. So this thing needs to happen. Bang, has to happen. And then we have what we call our filters. They're indicated by these dual icons down here. So, percent of gap, it gapped up 4%, it gapped down 2%, it gapped between 3 and 8%, however you want to do these, indicate minimum and maximum values with the colors. You would add filters and then define the values of those filters. So alert window becomes the alert happens while the filters are met. And then you have topless windows. Those are just going to be only filters. We come to the search here, only filters, and they update auto refresh every few seconds with all the stocks that meet the filter criteria there. Let's see. My Trade Ideas platform does not look like the tutorial videos, nor does it look like yours. It does not allow me to create a doc. I would guess that you are on the web version, the market dashboard is what I would guess that you're on. I would guess you're on something that looks like this here. That's our market dashboard. A lot of pre-done stuff in here that's kind of a grab and go, if you will. I'm on, yep. So there's two different web versions, but one I call the web version, the other I call the market dashboard, right? So this is the market dashboard. Then there is our web version. If you go to the download page and web access, that will look closer to what I'm on. And this is the web version here. So that's what Mac users have. So yep, this is the web version here. And it's in the ballpark of the Windows download, different feel, different look. Few things it doesn't have that the download has. There's no Brokerage Plus, there's no Market Explorer. But you can create all the same kind of scans. If you come to new, you can create an alert window, a top list, multi-strategy, compare count. You got the channels here. You can go through the channels here. More than less. Yeah, no creating of the different docs, but you can create layouts, right? So, you can create a layout and then save it to the cloud, and you can load those layouts whenever you want. So there is that possibility there like that. That's how the web version would go. If I was creating a layout myself and I didn't want some of these things, I could just get rid of that whole part right there, and I could go new, chart, new, chart, new, and chart, and I can start to space these things around how I want. Creating an alert window, bang, there's an alert window, and then configure. How do I want to configure it? A lot of things will come with defaults here. You just get rid of whatever is the default and the filters, the default alert if you don't want that. Same thing with the top list. Come to the top list. You can either right click to configure, or you can use those 3 lines to configure. And again, same thing. It's going to have some defaults in there. You can get rid of those values in the defaults. You can search for stuff here, looking for RSI, for example. You're looking for a change in some kind of period. You type change and you get all the different changes, things of that nature there for you. So, it's real close into the ballpark of the Windows download. It's just got those little slight nuances that are different. But like the rest of the software, once you get the hang of it, it falls like dominoes real easy, to be honest. Let me get you, if you haven't seen this yet, let me see what your other comment, I'll just make sure I read this all. Yeah, so let me get you, we got a good link here in our user's guide for the web. I'm going to share that with you here. Copy link address. And there we go. So that's the web version overview there from the user's guide. You may find that helpful. This is our offer on seminars and training. We do this Monday. We do this every market day at noon Eastern to 1 Eastern. So it's a come one, come all. Ask all the questions you have. And you get all the answers we can give, of course. There is our live traders room as well. For those, I will be exiting this shortly here. I'll shut the stream down in a few moments, and you're all welcome. In fact, I highly encourage you all join the traders room there. There's the traders room link. Barry runs it. He takes a break from about noon to 1, give or take. All times I give her Eastern for the moment. And while he's on the Windows download, like I said before, the web version, it's going to have all the filters and all the alerts are the same when you're getting into building scans. Just those little differences and nuances. Like I said, there are a couple of features missing. But for the most part, do mostly all the same things between the web version, not to be confused with the market dashboard, and the Windows download version like that. And I just always, it's one of these things that's near and dear to me. For those that don't know anything about me or haven't been around to these live streams much with me involved, I have no background in finance, trading, anything like that whatsoever. In early 2017, I decided I wanted to learn how to trade in the stock market. I had no illusions about how hard it would be and all that stuff like that. It was even harder than I could have imagined. And I just happened upon Trade Ideas and the free traders room, because free to anybody, anytime. And I joined it, and there's some different webinars that used to get done around here. And I was, doing those webinars and things like that. And I was taking notes and studying and asking questions and web searching and all those things like that. And then eventually I saw the value of Trade Ideas. I became a Trade Ideas subscriber and, really put the work in and, interactions with the folks from here, through Twitter and whatever else. And I was lucky enough that they offered me a position here because I knew the software so well. And here we are all those years later. I was not a successful trader in my first couple of years. I don't know that I necessarily would call myself a successful trader at this point. I don't know what would take me to call myself a successful trader. Do I have more wins than losses, on the P&L? I do now. It took a long time for that to happen. I guess I'm just always guarded that the market could come through and take things away from you as fast as it gave them to you. So make of that what you will. I will say that I did not want to hear from people that it takes takes time to become a trader, and time is not a month and 2 months. It's, much more time than that. I didn't want to hear that from anybody. I don't like telling people that because that's not what people want to hear. But, you don't become a bridge builder overnight. You don't, put up sheetrock in a house overnight. You don't, you don't build any kind of business overnight. That's not how it works. Becoming a trader is building your own business, right? You're not working for yourself. You're going you're going into business for yourself. Actually, when you become a trader, much different than working for yourself. Trading is not a job. You want a job. Burger King, McDonald's will hire you to sweep a floor, right? That's a job. You want to run a business, you got to have a business plan, right? And generally speaking, when you have a business plan, you go to a bank to get funded. Well, you are the bank in this case too. You're the creator of the business plan, and you're the one that's got to fund the business plan. If you told a bank, I've got this great idea for a business, you can make all this money, and they'd say, great, well, what's the business plan? We want to give you that money. And you say, well, I don't really have a plan on how to execute it, but it's going to make a lot of money. And the bank would say, well, that's awesome. When you got a real viable plan, come back and then we'll discuss giving you the money. So, would you give yourself a bunch of money to go open a business without a plan? That's how that was the mentality. When I learned that mentality is when I stopped losing. Wasn't winning yet. Just stopped losing. So sorry, more kind of philosophical trader talk than Trade Ideas talk at the moment. Probably boring some of you to death here. So I guess I'm going to make a last call here on any Trade Ideas related questions. If there are no Trade Ideas related questions in the next moment, I will shut the stream down. Again, really important, I think, for folks to get out there and get into the Traders Room with Barry. My pleasure to share. My pleasure to share. A lot of people become overnight successes after a few years. That's kind of how it works. What do I mean by that? I mean that, so all this time it wasn't happening, then boom, it starts to happen. It's like, from one night to the next. So that's what I kind of mean by that. Again, so that's the link for the live Traders Room. I'm going to give everybody a moment to click that link, get into that room, and join Barry and the crew that's over there. It's a much larger crew over there. There's more interaction, a lot more trader talk going on over there, stuff like that. So I thank you all kindly for joining me for this hour. Thank you for the interactions and the questions. I don't think you'll see me again the rest of this week, but if you shoot any, if you ever have other questions, info at trade-ideas.com. Shoot us an email there, please. We do our best to answer those questions over there as well. More than likely, if you shoot an email over there, I'll be one of the folks that you will be hearing from. So thanks again, everybody, for joining me. I hope you join Barry over in the Traders Room, and we will catch you on the next one. Take care. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.